I would be honored to be associated with this, and as we all should. We do a lot of things in Tallahassee that you find out in the mail piece later that maybe you regret. But I can tell you, each of us, Republican, Democrat, things like this is why you come up. So, President Gates, you're recognized. Close.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Former presidents still have a little bit. Not much. Mr. President, I would ask that the board be open for members to join in co-sponsoring this amendment.
Unlock the board and members can choose to. Lock the board.
39 votes against, 0 amendment.
Thank you, President. I think we have to adopt the amendment now. Already, why don't we adopt the amendment, and we may have some debate. Leader Joyner, would you like to wait to debate on the bill? All right. President Gates, you're recognized to close on your amendment.
You've closed, Mr. President. Speaker fully closed.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Bill adopted. We are on the bill as amended, and I think we need to get it in the proper posture. So the Senator, the first at 600 Gates, moves that the bill be read a third time by the required 2/3 vote. Is there objection? Seeing none, show the motion adopted. Read the bill.
Senate Bill 672, a bill to be entitled an act relating to educational options.
We're on third reading. Is there debate on the bill? Debate. Leader Joyner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think Senator Gates said it best when he said he couldn't decide whether to name it Andy, Neil, Andrew, but you named it for all of them when you said Gardner. It encompasses the entire family. And I can remember in the case fellowship, I was here, I was in the house. And so was our president, came in together in 2000. And he maintains and has always been that fella whose level has always been even. He's never like a Gates or a Joyner. He's always been well-tempered, mild-mannered, but direct and focused on what his job is here. And today this bill encompasses all of what he has stood for and worked for during the 16 years that we've been in the Florida legislature. And it started with him and Lorraine Osley in the House. And one thing I know about our president, Andy Gardner, is when he decides that he wants to get something done, he assiduously pursues it with all the vigor and tenacity that he has. And I'm proud to be a member of the class of 2000, having come in with Senator Gardner, Senator Negron, and there might be another person of Sophia that came in with us, but we're proud of you, Senator Gardner, as your classmates from not quite another generation, because I think a generation is 20 years, not quite there, but of this generation. And this is profound and remarkable, because you selected and fought for the most vulnerable, those who had no one to speak for them. And the irony is that we're all here, and there's so much that we can do for the least of us and the best of us, and oftentimes the most obvious that we can do, we don't do it, but you did it. And I just want to thank you. It means a lot to people who have had the experience of having to deal with those who've been overlooked. I have a great nephew who was born, and he had a stroke at birth, and we didn't know it. And later we found out, and he couldn't walk and couldn't talk. But by the grace of God and physical therapy and surgery, he walks. He's been mainstreamed. He's 14 years old now. He's good on the computer. It's Auntie, I love you. But what sustains him and the family and you and your family and others is the love that we give to those whose lives are not identical to ours. And I really must say, because of the attention that you put on this issue, it really affected me so I got more involved. You know, I knew when he was a baby, I just sensed there was something wrong. I didn't see what I thought as a person who had no children, and they said, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And I said, he's not moving that right hand right. And a doctor later confirmed that I was right. And then I came, and then I was here during that time when he was born. And you took the lead on this issue, and that has made all the difference. And so it's that connection that I have now that I thought prior to that time that I was a person who reached across the entire aisle of all folks in America. You know, the black, the white, the poor, the rich, those infirm, those not, those developmentally disabled. You think that you without bias, and you think that, oh, I love everybody, but instances have to come in life where you see that you're being tested. Do you really believe what you say? And I do. And I want to attribute your tenacity on this issue as being one that made me love him even more, because I realized that there was more that could be done, that I wasn't doing enough, but it was done by you. And so your acts emboldened me to do more. And I want to thank you, and I'm honored to be here today to be able to cast that vote for this bill to be named for you, because you deserve it, and you will go down in history and stand beside the case in the signal, most important act that was done by this legislature. Thank you, Mr. President.
Further debate. Before President, I'm sorry, Sir Montford, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. President. In my other career of almost 40 years, I had many opportunities to sit with families like Garden. And seeing the same frustration, but the desire to hope for their own children. I can't tell you how many countless times over the years I've experienced that. I want to thank you for the opportunity. You opened this opportunity for me to be a part of providing that hope and those opportunities for students, not just ones today, but in the future. And they would not have had that opportunity had not been for you. I want to thank you for providing this opportunity for me to be a part of a solution that has bothered a lot of problems. You're blessed.
Thank you, Senator. Before President Gates closes, Senator Sobel, you recognize.
I wasn't going to speak because I'm covering my hair up back here, but I have to speak in light of what Senator Moffett said. My former life, many of you don't know, I was a special ed teacher. I was one of the first special ed teachers in the United States. And I never thought I would see this day today that a legislature.
Senator Hayes, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, we passed a lot of bills in this process. But I truly believe that this bill is certainly one of the most, if not the most significant bill that we'll pass this year, or we pass perhaps even in my legislative years. The spectrum of influence of this bill is far greater than that of the population group which it's intended to directly benefit. But it's going to benefit every single person in the state of Florida. And I am truly humbled to be a part of this, what I consider a historic moment, when we're doing this for all the people of Florida, to heighten the anticipation of a post-secondary education for these students is exemplary. I'm privileged to have in my district Beacon College, which specializes. Their only student that they take are students with learning disabilities. And those students come in there and earn a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree, and their job placement ratio is greater than 80%. This is a population group, Mr. President, that you have allowed us to be a part of a very significant event for the state of Florida today. And I appreciate your leadership, and this is one of those deals when we'll look back and say, wow, I was there when we made it happen. Thank you.
Senator Sachs, I think I'm ready. But before I recognize President Gates, I'd love to sit here and say, I sit around and come up with all these great ideas. But as you guys know, there is one person that does. And I cannot allow this bill to leave this Senate without recognizing Camille and what she has dedicated her life. So if you would join me. President Gates, take us home.
Thank you, Mr. President. If we pass this bill, Florida will be the nation's leader in providing educational choice and opportunity for children with unique abilities. We'll be the nation's leader. There are no lobbyists in the rotunda casting lots on the prospects for this bill's passage. There are no interest groups who will endorse you or oppose you based on your vote. There's no rally and tally, there are no protests, there's no chanting in the hallway about this. There's just thousands and thousands of Florida families who are waiting quietly, even prayerfully, by their televisions and their computers, waiting to see what we will do today. Let's make Florida first. Let's make Florida better.
President Gates, having closed, open the board. Members vote. Lock the board and announce the vote.
39 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
By your vote, the bill passes. Okay, now we can sign it aye. So thank you, members. Thank you. Thank you for the next bill.
Committee substitute.